Not all children love their mothers like their mothers or want to celebrate Mother's Day. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed psychotherapist, and I work with people who have experienced abuse as well as people who perpetrate abuse. One of the things that I've noticed, just across the board and over the years, is that there are a lot of people who get triggered by Mother's Day just by, going into the stores and seeing the layout of the cards or seeing the big, broad advertisements for Mother's Day gifts and seeing them on television and so on and so forth. And while I recognize that Mother's Day is a commercialized holiday in the United States, not everybody feels happy or excited to celebrate their mothers. There are many people who struggle with, feeling that desire to connect with their mothers and feeling like cards, those frilly flowers and things like that, that seems very inauthentic to them because they grew up with a mother that was abusive, a mother who was emotionally or physically absent or neglectful, a mother who had mental illness. Whatever the case may be, you are perfectly valid. It is perfectly okay and valid for you to have your feelings of not feeling happy and excited to celebrate Mother's Day, and even feeling a little bit sad or a little bit angry or even feeling disconnected when the holiday rolls around, and also a sense of longing. So it could be especially triggering when you see other daughters or other sons that have great mothers and that desire to celebrate them and feel like they have this wonderful connection and they can't wait to go to a Mother's Day brunch with their mom or wait to give their mom their Mother's Day gift, or they can't stop talking about how great the relationship with their mother was. They're valid in their feelings and experiences too. But for those of you who do not have great relationships with your mothers, what I've noticed is a lot of people who don't have those great relationships or feel a way about Mother's Day, or feel sad, or they don't have a mother. They seem to want to shrink themselves when Mother's Day or any holiday like that comes around. They want to shrink and feel embarrassed or ashamed about what their experiences are. And I would encourage you to do just the opposite. Instead of shrinking or making yourself small or even trying to fake the funk, right? Because some of us, we fake the funk too, right? Where we actually force ourselves to go out there and buy those gifts and buy those cards, even though we don't feel authentically connected to our mother. And so I would encourage you, instead of being inauthentic, to live in your authenticity and maybe share your story of, with one other person you feel connected to, friend, therapist, whomever, that, hey, this isn't a great day for me. My mother and I didn't have a great relationship. And I'm happy to be here and support you, but I just want to let you know, if you're happy to support that person, but if you're not, you're not, just be authentic and say, this is actually a hard day for me to show up and, be in a space with people. I actually have a deep longing and a desire for a mother, or I have a very deep mother wound. And so it's actually hard for me to be present during this holiday, or to even be present with you while you celebrate it, because it's a reminder of something that I don't have, or something that I've always longed for. So if you have connections in your life, I would encourage you to show up, make space for yourself, and be authentic. If you have a mother and your relationship with your mother isn't that good, you don't like your mother, or your mother has been mean or abusive to you, or there's extensive history there that's not good, or your mother has maybe a mental illness where she may be physically present, but she's not present here with you emotionally. I would encourage you to be authentic too. A lot of us feel forced or pressured, like this internal obligation to show up and respect our parents. And a lot of times that means going through with buying gifts and buying things that don't really feel authentic. I mean, looking at cards and things like that. And sometimes you can go to that card section and sort of mull over those cards for like, what can seem like an hour or so, trying to find something that really sort of describes the relationship, or even how you feel about your mother. And nothing really seems to fit because none of it is really genuine. There's not really a card that says, I hate you, or I don't like you, or you were a bad parent to me. And I don't really like you, but I'm doing this somehow. The other thing to note, is that, like, don't do that if you don't feel called to do that, or it feels inauthentic to you. There's no forced obligation. As an adult, you have free will, so you can actually make the decision to not purchase anything. And if you feel called to do something, you can always send a text or whatever, something that's very light but doesn't require a whole lot of energy for you. And that's only if you feel called to do that. The other thing is, you don't have to offer an explanation to anyone for what you do, how you move. As an adult, again, you are in charge of your life. If you're not, or you don't feel like you are, I would encourage you to see what's holding you back from feeling like you're able to fully take charge of your life and of your free will, and see maybe explore that with a professional in your area, that if you feel called to do so. Try to stay away from the negativity, or the pressure from other family members, because other family members can also make you feel forced to conform, but you are your own individual free thinker. And I realize that that's, totally a U.S. way to think. And so other cultures, other countries, maybe a collectivistic society doesn't necessarily they can't necessarily operate that way, is what I'm trying to say. So do whatever suits you, but I encourage you to show up for yourself and acknowledge and validate your own feelings and how you feel, and take care of yourself. If this holiday is triggering for you, it's upsetting for you, allow yourself to sit with your feelings and process them. Maybe you can journal them. Maybe you can watch movies. Maybe you can find connections with other mothers in different ways. So whether that be a neighbor, whether that be a woman at work who is very motherly. And then there's also a lot of mothers here on social media. I like some of the mothers on these accounts, and even in other cultures, like, for example, there's a woman and her mother, they're both Korean, and they talk about skincare, they talk about diet, and they kind of show up together. So that's a good example of an account where you can sort of get motherly love in different ways. I hope that makes sense. So make space for other mothers to show up for you in different ways. Most importantly, you be your own mother, and always be sure to nurture yourself and be kind and show up and celebrate yourself as well. And so for those of you who celebrate Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day to you all. And for those of you that don't, sending kindness and warmth and virtual hugs to you also. And you deserve to be celebrated and highlighted as well.